Israel assassinated Ali Larijani, Iran's top security chief, the man who negotiated with America. Now he's gone. Iran's government is fractured, power unstable. Iran confirming his death. Larijani was central to everything. His loss is massive. No clear successor waiting. Chaos spreading inside Iranian government. Israeli military announced the strike success. They targeted Iran's leadership, and they hit. Strategic victory. But here's what matters to you. Strait of Hormuz is still completely blocked. Tankers can't move. Hundreds of ships waiting, so they're routing around Africa instead. Takes 3 weeks longer. That delay costs billions. Your stuff is rerouting around the world, going the long way. Every package you order just got slower. Every import just got more expensive. Your groceries are affected. Your clothes are stuck in shipping delays. Oil prices topped $110, up 45% since this war started, and it's staying high. Your gas prices rising daily. Stanford economists say typical families spending extra $740 on gas this year because of this war. But wait, Trump just posted something. He said, winding down military efforts, suggesting ceasefire might be coming. Talks with Iran are very good and productive. Markets reacted immediately. Dow jumped 1,800 points. People relieved maybe war ending. But here's the problem. Even if fighting stops today, the damage is permanent. Supply chains are broken. Shipping routes are destroyed. Oil prices are staying high. Your life just got more expensive. And that's not changing for months, even if the war ends right now. That's what's happening in America. Not just war, not just geopolitics, but your wallet, your life, your future costs just went up, and they're staying up. That's what...
Americans know what it's out. It's sons and daughters. The war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows your existence as leaders. Now, this is wrong, Dom. And nobody wants to fight for Israel. A reminder to all for this war. America does not want to fight this war for Israel. Come on, let's go. America does not want to out its sons and daughters the war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows your existence as leaders. Now, this is wrong, Dom. And nobody wants to fight for Israel.
Pay attention and listen, because ex-military strategist from the United States sends a warning to all American people. Look.
First of all, if you need medication of any kind, you better go out and buy all the medicines you can get, because in a few months they won't be available, because the petroleum industry has a big role to play in the production of pharmaceuticals. So that's my first piece of advice. And secondly, start thinking in terms of storing food and any other items that you think you may need, because as this war continues, and it's going to continue, the impact that I talked about earlier is going to be felt here at it. But in the meantime, I think you just need to prepare for the worst here. And once the stock market figures out, or the investors, the people in New York that run the financial system, who are largely part of the problem for us, they're going to say, oh my God, and you're going to watch the stock market tank, and you're going to watch the cost of a barrel of oil go up to 200 and potentially all the way to 3. And all of that is going to bring everything inside the United States to a screeching halt.
Pay attention and listen, because
They sold us out. The American government sold us out. You have a country that is trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, meaning they're broke, huge deficit, but they are able to create money to send for war. Do you know how much a missile cost?
How much?
Well, it will surprise you.
Tell me.
Each and every missile that these guys send money to create and fund for war, correct?
Give it to me.
It's probably about $200,000 or $300,000 per missile, or more. Who benefits? who benefits when the companies in America have to build more weapons of war?
Russia just told the United States to basically fuck off. And this time, it's not just angry words, it's a warning. The United States seized
Dang,
2
it's
oil
heating up
tankers
here in
linked to
America,
Russia.
man.
One was taken in the North Atlantic, another near the Caribbean. Washington says these ships were secretly carrying Venezuelan oil and breaking U.S. sanctions. Russia exploded. Russian officials called
What's
the
up,
seizure
public
piracy.
message?
One senior lawmaker said attacking Russian-linked ships is the same as attacking Russia itself. He openly talked about military retaliation and even mentioned nuclear response. And the most dangerous part is this. Russia is not Iran or Venezuela. Russia has the largest nuclear arsenal in the world, more warheads than any other country. These weapons are active, deployed, and ready. When Russian officials talk about nuclear doctrine, it's not a joke. It's a threat meant to scare and warn. This is no longer just about oil ships. It's about red lines being crossed. The
We
U.S.
living in a
tightens
dangerous
sanctions. Russia pushes back harder,
world
and every
today.
step makes the situation more dangerous. The
This
United
look like a
States is now
damn
surrounded by
monopoly.
rivals, and China is waiting for the perfect moment. Follow for updates as global tensions keep rising. Russia just told the United
You know the United States is cooked when other news stations from other countries come to do news reports in the United States. That's some shit that we do when shit is going on in third world countries. Our news stations go to other countries to report and see what's going on. I just saw a video where this girl said a German news station, a South Korean news network, and a Japanese news network, they sent their news reporters over to Minnesota to see the shit that's going on in Minnesota. Mind you, these are major news networks. They are coming to America like America is a third world country right now. Y'all don't see nothing wrong with
That's
that?
the
They
direction
are
it's
moving
heading
like
in.
we turned into the third world country. This is evidence right here that shit is not right. These people went to Minneapolis, Minnesota to see the situations that's going on with ICE. Mind you, people are losing their lives. I seen a video where they said these guys threw a smoke bomb in a car filled with kids. This is not the America that we're used to. What is happening right now? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something.
This was footage of it earlier today during the daylight around an hour ago before the base went fully dark. This is America's biggest base in Iraq and is overhead of Iranian missiles that are flying to Israel. Nearly 1,000 American troops were stationed at this base, but we were told an unknown number of them evacuated beforehand. Comment your thoughts, follow me for the newest update. This was footage of it earlier today during the daylight around an hour ago before the base went fully dark. This is America's biggest base in Iraq and is overhead of Iranian missiles that are flying to Israel. Nearly 1,000 American troops were stationed at this base, but we were told an unknown number of them evacuated beforehand. Comment your thoughts, follow me for the newest update.
This FBI whistleblower has a warning to the American people.
About a minute and a half, and then I want to turn the rest of my time to Mr. Jordan.
Yes, sir. I would just say that I consider the hearing today my last act of service as a public servant for the United States of America, and I'll give you my professional opinion. I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. There are no current effective checks and balances against them conducting lawless action with any type of correction in a legitimate time frame. Their ability to overclassify information can allow them to stonewall forever. My other recommendations are in the natural order. First, vote. The second is the Second Amendment. Arm yourself and know how to defend yourself. Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in times of hardship. And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times. And make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. As a person of faith, I'd say pray the rosary and read the gospel of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and live it every day.
I'm reporting to you from the town of Sir al-Gharabiyya. I don't know if you can hear the 2 Israeli drones hovering above our heads right now, but I have a message to the American taxpayers.
What is it?
While you're unable to afford groceries and probably one medical emergency away from bankruptcy, your tax dollars are going directly to Israel. The money is used to buy weapons to kill civilians in foreign countries.
And this is what
I have
the
lost
people
count
that
of
support.
the number of massacres that have happened just in the last 24 hours here in Lebanon. It is dizzying. The site where I am now is the site where Israel yesterday killed 19 civilians in a massive airstrike that targeted 2 residential homes. Targeting residential areas is a war crime. I'd also like to say that the violence that you export into the world will come back to you. Your government will eventually use these tactics on you. You are next.
But the implications of events in the Middle East for the U.S. economy are uncertain. In the near term, higher energy prices will push up overall inflation, but it is too soon to know the scope and duration of the potential effects on the economy. But the implications of events in the Middle East for the U.S. economy are uncertain. In the near term, higher energy prices will push up overall inflation, but it is too soon to know the scope and duration of the potential effects on the economy. But the implications of events in the Middle East for the U.S.
Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade, the ground troops?
Yes.
Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade, the ground troops?
Yes.
Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade, the ground troops?
Yes.
Yes, we're cooked. That's it. We're cooked, everybody. Wrap this shit up. Stop paying your taxes. You might as well just go ahead and skip rent this month. It doesn't matter. We're fucking cooked. Have you not looked outside?
Somebody
Have you read
say
a fucking news?
Trump
Read a
is about
single
to
newspaper.
nuke his
We
way
are
out
so cooked.
of the
Oh my
files.
God. They are.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, maybe not
They're
the
trying to
whole
sweep
world,
them
but at
files
least
up
here in
under the rug.
America, cooked, baby. Cooked.
They do not
They
want to
just
discuss
raised
them
the ICE
files.
budget by $500
The
billion.
PDF files, the pedophiles.
And the ICE isn't even for the global warming. The ICE is for the immigrants that build everything. They're cutting hospital budgets. Woo. Oh, God. Food benefits. It's called SNAP. Some of you might know it as food stamps. Done. They're cutting. Oh, so much of it. Done. And they're giving it to masked men to chase nurses down the street. It is. Oh, it feels good to get that. We don't have to pretend anymore. We don't have to pretend for maybe your kids. Maybe pretend for them. That way they'll do their homework or something. But in the long run, oh boy. Okay. So yeah, we're cooked. Yes.
It seems that Americans have no understanding the extent of the damage that the U.S. has been getting in the Middle East because of the Iran war. So let me give you a quick rundown.
Yeah, because they've been lying to the people.
All major U.S. bases in the region have been completely decimated. Not a little bit, not partially, completely. The most significant ones are the ones in Bahrain and the ones in Qatar and also the one in Iraq, in Arbil, which is the Kurdish area. So the one in Bahrain is the naval base, essentially, of the United States, where there's the Fifth Fleet, and it's been completely decimated. I think it's out of function, so it's out of service completely. The one in Qatar is called the Udeid, and it has the largest radar that the U.S. has built apparently anywhere, and it has been completely destroyed as well. That too is out of service. And then the one in Erbil is the one that is a stronghold for the American position in Iraq, and it also is connected with the oil that they extract out of there in connection with the Kurds. So the Kurds keep showing up. They're always there to support the U.S. and Israel against Iran, against Syria, against Iraq. They're always there to do that kind of work. Anyway, that base has been totally decimated as well. So in addition to these three major ones, there are others that are significant as well. The ones in Abu Dhabi have been decimated. The ones in Kuwait have been decimated. Americans, I don't know if... And also in Jordan. At the same time, the embassies are being targeted. So the one in Saudi Arabia was targeted, the one in Jordan, in the UAE, in Dubai. In Dubai, it's not an embassy, it's a consulate, it's an office, and also the one in Bahrain. In addition to these, of course, there's all of this stuff going on in the Hormuz Strait, and there have been targets of individual buildings that house American personnel, Israeli personnel, Mossad, CIA personnel. Like there was a building in Bahrain that was targeted. That one got a lot of views and attention, and also a few of them in Dubai, several in Dubai. and also a few in Abu Dhabi. And there are these little satellite bases and locations that are being targeted as well. In addition to all of this, Iran is targeting Israel proper and has targeted a lot of key areas, including military offices, surrounding offices, and more recently, the infrastructure. So after the retaliation of Israel, which was in response, of course, Iran was retaliating against the U.S. The U.S. started everything wrong in the world. Iran targets.
If World War III starts, there are U.S. states that will be hit first. Not because they did anything wrong, but because America chose them to be the shield. These states were picked to take the first nuclear explosions, so the rest of the country might survive. And the craziest part? Millions of people live in them, and most have no idea they're living on the front line of a nuclear war. Today, we're going through the 10 U.S. states that might get hit first, and why these places became America's sacrifice zones. At number 10, it's New Mexico. New Mexico is where the nuclear age was born. Literally, the first atomic bomb on Earth was tested here at the Trinity site. Today, New Mexico is still the brain of America's nuclear system. Los Alamos builds nuclear triggers. Sandia builds the tech that makes nukes work. Thousands of engineers work on bombs America hasn't even admitted exist. This state designs the weapons, tests the weapon parts, fixes the old systems, and creates future systems. An enemy knows if New Mexico goes dark, America's nuclear brain shuts down. And its labs are surrounded by small towns, meaning any strike hits civilians immediately. We got a risk rating for the states. So Mexico's sacrifice risk is rated at 0.5 out of 10. That's really low. But if New Mexico is the brain, the next state is one of America's forgotten weapons dumps. At number 9, it's Missouri. Missouri looks calm. Farms, rivers, barbecue smoke in the air. But beneath fields and suburbs sit abandoned missile bases, left over from the Cold War. Some held warheads the size of trucks. Some held launch pads still intact underground. Missouri also borders major national rail lines used to move nuclear parts, missiles, and fuel. Enemy planners know this. Whiteman Air Force Base once stored nuclear bombers that could hit any country on Earth. That history matters. Targets never leave the list, they just move down. The risk rating for Missouri is also pretty low, at 1 out of 10. But the next state holds the command center for all of America's nukes. At number 8, it's Nebraska. Nebraska is quiet, open skies and farmland. But underground sits STRATCOM, the headquarters of the entire U.S. nuclear system. One building in Nebraska controls every nuclear submarine, every nuclear bomber, every ICBM missile, every satellite alert, every launch message, even every retaliation order. If enemies don't destroy STRATCOM instantly, America launches back with full power and wipes entire countries off the map. That makes Nebraska a priority kill target. Enemies only get one shot. If World War III starts, there are U.S. states that will be hit first. Not because
Absolutely on the head in this breaking story when he said this.
We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
But in this breaking story, when you have soulful, strong people, especially from the country of Germany, and I'm half German, who sit down and take the time to say what this man says right here in this breaking story, when a couple of generations later, you have people at this age harken back to what they know their country lived through and what they're witnessing from across the pond, we might want to pay attention. Check out this statement by this German citizen right here.
We know, because in our country too, people longed for a strong leader and believed his promises. MAGA leaders are quickly destroying American democracy, American society, and increasingly the American economy, while enriching themselves in the process.
This place been infiltrated.
It was no different here in 1933.
It's being torn down
At
from
first,
the very core.
Some people believed they were benefiting from Hitler's policies, but that changed quickly. The fascists had already divided people into categories and cruelly judged their worth and their lives. Once Hitler became Imperial Chancellor in January 1933, it took the Nazis only 2 months to completely destroy Weimar democracy. Watching your federal government occupy cities and target migrants is eerily familiar. The rapid destruction of the rule of law, suppression of speech, including the press, universities, science and basic right of assembly, imperialist fantasies about conquering other countries, even allies, information control and centralized propaganda, blatant corruption at the highest level, violent expulsion of people under the guise of illegal migration, and an exodus of the brightest minds to other countries where they can freely do their work. MAGA cannot offer a future to the American dream. Worse, the crisis of your democracy is directly linked to our future and indeed that.
To every single American that keeps saying, by law, they were required, by law, by law, by law. They were supposed to do it by law. They broke the law. The law doesn't fucking exist. The law doesn't fucking exist in America, everybody. Every single member of the government is a criminal! And we keep expecting the criminals to hold the other criminals accountable. When the fucking dictator in charge can ignore the courts, law doesn't exist. When every system of checks and balances we had fails because nobody's being held accountable, law doesn't exist. Stop screaming about what is legally required. Nobody fucking cares.
Hey, y'all, we're just talking to an economist, right? So economist is somebody that, you know, that just knows.
Basically, this place is cooked.
Economy, like money-wise and stuff. And
There's nothing, right? You hear nothing good
all that stuff, right?
anymore nowadays
you know,
about this place.
You know, I always ask people for some advice. You know, I said, so with the economy right now, what would you
the
advise?
People that's
like
in
buying
charge
a house
and ruling
or,
this place.
You know, doing big purchases like that. So he starts off with this, and this is what I wanted to drop off in the video.
It's not doing a very good job.
He said, yeah, purchase it. He said, because the inflation or the lack of money is not a problem. The problem is 69% consumption is what America is paying. So we're paying clothes, shoes, cars. You know, we making more money, so we spending more money.
The problem is this place is plagued.
The national consumption rate is 69%, bro.
This is modern day Egypt, modern day
That's
Babylon.
crazy, bro. So we buying more than we selling. Now how we gonna make money
and
like that,
bro? And they have to pay for that tab.
That's wild, bro.
You know.
That just changed my whole aspect, bro. I'm not buying shit no more. Nigga, we ain't going out to eat nothing, nigga. Eat some at me.
They went out, had dinner, and left the tab with their kids.
This is a dying empire. Things in the United States are not going well at all, and they are going to get a lot worse.
This what I'm
but
trying
if
to
Trump makes this foolish move, they're going to get a lot worse, a lot faster than they thought it would. And again, I stress the people in the Persian way, we are not backing down. The United States, Israeli regime, have to back down, and they will have to accept Iran's conditions before this war comes to an end. Iran's conditions are not only about Iran, they're about the region, they're about Iran's sovereignty, they're about the future of threats against Iran in the future. In other words, the Persian Gulf can no longer be a place where these family dictatorships allow it to be used as a foothold to attack Iran or Yemen or Iraq or Syria or Lebanon or anywhere else. And also,
facing this horrible threat to Israel, I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight. Facing this horrible threat to Israel, I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight. Facing this horrible threat to Israel, I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done.
Walking in the future or on the set of a sci-fi movie or something. Shanghai is one of the largest cities on Earth. Over 24 million people live here, more than the population of many entire countries. Even.
God gonna
It covers
destroy
more
China
than
too.
6,300 square kilometers, yet
Yahweh is
functions
displeased with
as
all
a
these
single
nations.
connected system. Subways move tens of millions of passengers every day. Digital.
Man, you better save that energy what you got right now. What is you doing out there? That ain't how them Iranians gonna be fighting out there, bro. Go sit down somewhere.
In Cuba, authorities have partially restored electricity after more than 10 million people lost power to their homes and businesses Saturday following another collapse of Cuba's national power grid. It was the second time in a week and the third time this month Cuba suffered a major blackout as the Trump administration's oil
I'm in
blockade
Florida.
worsens Cuba's humanitarian crisis. Critics have condemned the blockade as economic warfare. This is Havana resident Leonie Alberto, who's been forced to cook with
I'm in the
firewood
Sunshine
during
State.
the blackouts.
Life doesn't change. Ultimately, we're stuck in the same rut. We aren't going to move forward. We're just going to stay right here at a standstill.
America
Twice
got
a week,
blackouts
cooking
coming
with
here.
firewood. It's absolute madness.
See, we look
There's
at
no
these
other way around
other
it.
countries
It's just the hand
and
we've
look
been
at what
dealt.
they're going
The
through and
solution
laugh.
is unlikely. We've been stuck in the same
But
situation for
all of
60
these
years.
plagues and these
It is
things
not
is
going to
coming here.
change.
In Cuba, authorities have partially restored electricity after
And
more
that's
than
what we need
10
to be focusing
million
on.
people lost power to their homes and businesses Saturday following another collapse of Cuba's national power grid. It was the second time in a week and the third time this month Cuba suffered a major blackout as the Trump administration's oil blockade worsens Cuba's humanitarian crisis. Critics have condemned the blockade as economic warfare. This is Havana resident Leonie Alberto, who's been forced to cook with firewood during the blackouts.
See,
Life doesn't
all
change.
this stuff
Ultimately,
funny
we're stuck in the same
when you
rut. We
looking
aren't
from
going
the
to move
outside
forward. We're
in
just going to
somebody
stay
else's
right
country,
here at a standstill.
and the bombs are not
Twice a
dropping
week,
on you,
cooking with
and the
firewood.
lights are
It's
not cut out
absolute
on you,
madness. There's no
and the
other way
food
around
is
it.
not taken
It's
out of your
just the
mouth.
hand we've been dealt.
But
The solution
when
is
these
unlikely.
things
We've been stuck
come
in
in
the
your
same situation
backyard,
for 60 years. It is not going to
how
change.
will you
In
survive?
Cuba, authorities have partially restored
That's the
electricity
question.
after more than 10 million.
America is the best country in the world to make money, the worst country in the world to start a family. It's the best country in the world to make money because there's degeneracy everywhere, so you can take advantage of everyone's dopamine receptors. But at the same time, you can't really start a family because everyone's so degenerate, and so you can't trust anybody. So how do you find a middle ground? First, you move to a big city such as LA, Miami, New York, get a high-paying corporate job or start a business, stay in there for about 5 years, stack as much cash as you can, and then move to a nice Eastern European suburb with high serotonin. That way you can start a family and live happily ever after. That way, by the time you're 30 or 35, you're still young and energetic and you can still think properly. You can enjoy the rest of your life doing whatever the fuck you want. But at the same time, you have that knowledge and you have that experience to leave a lasting impact on the rest of the world. Old and rich people are jealous of the youth because they have time, but also young and
Starting in January, you must submit 5 years of your social media history in order to be allowed into the United States. The Department of Homeland Security has
Seeing the
including
sci-fi movies
anti-Semitism and
is
support of
becoming
terror groups. Starting in
our
January,
reality.
you must submit 5 years of your social media history in order to be allowed into the United States. The Department of Homeland Security has announced that everyone, including people who can enter without a visa, must submit their social media profiles and be viewed.
If you live in these states, you are cooked for World War III. California, New York, Washington, Virginia, Georgia, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, Nebraska, etc.
Out of treating my girlfriend as my equal and trying to understand her beliefs.
Well, you're cooked then. You treat your girl like an equal?
I love
you're
her.
cooked, bro. Like,
Bro, you're cooked. What's happening to America? Why are we saying women deserve less, and why are people laughing at this? This is just an opportunity for people to talk down on each other, which is not beneficial to anyone.
Okay, so here's the problem, and I see where you're coming from, right? We're told the Disney fairy tales, you know, the golden rule: treat your someone else how you want to be treated, treat women nice, everything else like that. Which I agree with. I think women shouldn't work. I think the man should be the breadwinner and take care of her. But we have to be very honest here and understand that men and women are different, and we're attracted to different things. And for a woman to be attracted to you, she can't look at you as an equal. She has to look at you as a superior.
How can you say that if you're not in a relationship with a woman?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Yeah, very ugly actually. 2 out of 10 at best. But no.
Your personality matters way more. If you treat them like you're equal, if you respect them, they will respect you back.
okay, a man's job isn't to get in a relationship and secure commitment. That's what we give to women. Okay, it's a woman's job to secure commitment. It's our job to go out there, create value, build a legacy, build a last name, and then the women are gonna come from that.
Why are you putting either of us in a box? Why do you say that we have to do certain things? Why can't we just live our lives and be happy?
Because that's just not how the world works, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm in a
It
relationship
just doesn't.
and I'm
It
very
doesn't
happy
work that way. Women want competence. They want excellence. They don't want a guy that's equal to them.
If you're not in a relationship with
What was that?
How do you know what a woman wants if you're not in a relationship with
Well, I've been around quite a few.
Don't ever put anything in a text message. At the CIA on our very first day, they told us not to ever say or do anything that we would be ashamed to see on the front page of the Washington Post. I took that seriously. The truth of the matter is, because of technology, the way it is today, our whole lives are out there potentially for someone to see, for someone to use against us. So be careful what you say, be careful what you write.
Gotta be
even
careful
in
out here.
jest, because it can be taken out of context to target you.
Yes, they do.
Fellas, America first or Israel first? America first or Israel first?
Dang, they
You
can't
can't say it,
even
but you're
talk.
wearing U.S. uniforms. That's weird. Who trained you?
That's sad.
Fellas, America first or Israel first? America first or Israel first? You can't say it, but you're wearing U.S.
America ain't dying. America's already dead. America is cooked. And what you're watching now is basically just like the body twitching. But America is cooked. America
Hunt the
is
dump,
a
the set on the
collapsing
wall.
empire
America,
in
America. It look like it's
denial.
having a
You
great
got
fall.
these
And all
patriotic
the
fanatics
kings
out there
and
still
horse,
clinging to rituals, flags, and fantasies.
they can't put
All
America
while the
back
motherfucking
together
roof is
again.
caving in. And I don't think they realize that this is not a phase. This is not just a rough patch. This is the end of America as you knew it. America is cooked. I don't know how many different ways to say this shit. The dollar is failing. The jobs are gone. The rent is sky high and unpayable. And the people, we...
Why is nobody talking about the fact that there's going to be an earthquake strong enough to split the U.S. into two pieces, gang?
The reason that nobody's talking about it is because it's not going to literally split the U.S. into two pieces. This is a video that I got tagged in from this creator who's saying that the United States is now cooked, and why is nobody talking about the fact there's going to be an earthquake strong enough to split the U.S. into two pieces? And what he's referring to here is a very recent drill that first responders did in Missouri in preparation for a massive earthquake. In Missouri, in this red spot, there's a location known as the New Madrid Seismic Zone or New Madrid Fault Line. Back in the early 1800s, there were 3 earthquakes that occurred that were above 7 on the Richter scale, and they sank the town of New Madrid by at least 15 feet, causing a ton of damage. And scientists are now concerned that we're due for a pretty powerful earthquake in this area within the next 50 years. Earthquake would cause a lot of damage and maybe death. It's not going to actually split the US into two. And as is, there's only a 40 to 60% chance this happens within the next 50 years, and a 10% chance that it's going to be as powerful as the one that happened in the early 1800s.
Why is nobody...
We are now approaching the longest shutdown in American history.
Democrats' fault.
Under your presidency, we're talking about more than 1 million federal workers who are not getting a paycheck, including our air traffic controllers. You see there's traffic snarls out at the airports now. This weekend, food aid for more than 42 million Americans is set to expire. What are you doing as president?
What are you gonna do?
Shutdown?
All we're doing is we keep voting. I mean, the Republicans are voting almost
That's all
unanimously
y'all want to keep
end
doing
it.
is voting.
We are now approaching the
And
longest
you keep voting the wrong
shutdown
people
in
in there.
American history.
Democrats' fault.
Under your presidency,
Somebody, it's always
we're
this
talking about
person's
more than
fault.
1
It's
million
always that
federal
person's
workers
fault.
who are not getting a paycheck.
When y'all gonna take
including our air
accountability?
traffic controllers. You see there's traffic snarls out at the airports now. This weekend,
There's no
food
accountability
aid
when
for more
somebody
than
mess up
42
something
million Americans is set to expire.
within
What
the
are
government.
you doing as president to end the shutdown?
All we're doing is we keep voting. I mean, the Republicans
Stop
are
voting. That's the
almost
problem.
unanimously to end it.
We are now approaching.
I don't have absolutely fucking nothing. And I've been working...
928
I'm at the police station. Look, they got Donald Trump, the Israeli star over the United States. Come on, man. What's going on?
United States. That's some shit that we do when shit is going on in third world countries. Our news stations go to other countries to report and see what's going on. I just saw a video where this girl said a German news station, a South Korean news network, and a Japanese news network, they sent their news reporters over to Minnesota to see the shit that's going on in Minnesota. Mind you, these are major news networks. They are coming to
I hate to predict things like
Tell the truth.
there is a period of transition.
10 of the last 11 recessions since the 1950s have happened under Republican presidents. The odds of that happening by chance are 1 out of 31, suggesting their policies play a large role. And Trump just admitted he can't rule out the possibility as economists warn a recession could be coming due to his actions. Republicans deregulate markets, allowing corporations and financial institutions to operate without safeguards. That's what economists believe caused the 2008 financial crisis. And Trump has launched one of the most aggressive efforts to reduce federal regulations and oversight we've ever seen. Republicans also often pass huge tax cuts that favor the rich and corporations, which can cause economic instability and inflation because it increases the deficit without stimulating.
The expression, if you are 18 to 25, you are cooked. You're going to World War III. If you are 26 to 39, you are still cooked. Because the age cap's at 39, you going to World War III. If you have ADHD, you are cooked. You are going to World War III. If you have diabetes, congratulations, you ain't going to World War III. If you've ever been put in a mental facility, congratulations, you are not going to World War III. If you are in college, I'm sorry, you are cooked. They actually want you more for the draft because they want to put you in a specialized position. You are going to World War III. If you are 18 to 25, you are cooked. You're going to World War III. If you are 26 to 39, you are still cooked because the age cap's at 39. You going to World War III.
This is how they view America. Look at the cop car behind me.
Santiago?
Hi, good evening.
Because Joe Biden did not take the bait. He didn't take Israel's bait and fight Iran.
Sleepy
You know
Joe.
who stood in the way of all of this? Joe Biden did. He had two opportunities. Joe Biden deterred Iran but did not
Sleepy
attack
Joe.
them. It was Democrats in the Senate that tried to constrain. What?
Let me explain to y'all something. The United States is cooked. The United States is cooked beyond cooked. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that if you're interested in global politics at all, then you know that Davos is going on right now, and different world leaders have gotten on the stage and basically stated that the United States can no longer be trusted. Not only can they no longer be trusted, but they are going to
That's
divest
bad
from
when
the
nobody
United
don't
States.
want to trust you no
They are
more.
going to sell off U.S. treasuries. You may be like, oh,
I don't even
okay.
feel. How can you
Bond
feel
yields are as
safe? Your
high as they
country
were
is
since
just
2007, the last major financial crisis.
doing things
Okay, what? What does that mean?
to break
If
other people's
they
trust.
sell off our treasuries, we won't have people to buy our debt. That is the thing that allows us to consistently keep borrowing money year in and year out, live in a deficit and
Pregnant.
Better stop store.
Unfortunately for you, they already have a plan in place, and you're not in it. You see, continuity of government says that if things ever get too bad here in America, we're going to take the most important people and we're going to put them in bunkers. Well, everybody else, what about everybody else? What about those people that go to work every single day, working a 9 to 5, those blue collar, red-blooded
What's up,
Americans
Alexander,
who
my brother?
make sure that their backyards are mown
Shalom,
as well as
peace
their
and
front
blessings.
yards, and they're picking up litter along their neighborhoods, and those housewives that are taking care of those children and making sure that everything is right in those schools and those teachers and educators. What about those common people that are under the poverty line or at the poverty line? What about those people? I had to ask that question. Well, nobody wanted to give me an answer for that question, so I fell down that rabbit hole, and I got to the bottom of it. And it turns out that continuity of government means that they already have a plan in place for the elite, and you're not a part of that plan. It
That's
means
all right.
that if this
Because
country
we're part of
starts
God's plan. We're part
going
of
into a
Yahweh's
civil
plan. He
war
already
or
got us
anything
taken care of.
dangerous, and our elites feel like they're in danger, They're going to bunkers, and for the rest of us,
That's why we have a sense of security,
well, I'll
regardless
just
of
leave it
what
to your
happens.
imagination. But I think that now is a
We
time
know
for
where our
unity
soul
more than
lies.
ever because we're at a time of absolute compromise. Love your families. Try to stay indoors as much as you can and appreciate what you have now. Appreciate the prices.
That's what's up, my
Just
brother.
love what you
Salute.
have and be thankful. Peace and love.
Salute, Ranger.
Unfortunately for you, they already have a plan in place and you're not in it. You see, continuity of government says that if things...
People keep building apartments, keep building these sky-rise, luxury apartments, etc. Who are you putting in these? The real estate market is dropping. Everyone can't even afford rent. And then, F all that, okay? To get into an apartment, 3 times the rent, 6 times the rent, credit score gotta be 800, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. You don't know. Why do you keep building apartments if they're just gonna sit empty? People keep building.
So as one day drinking addict,
It is fucking official. World War III has started. I've been telling you guys this for a month. The U.S. just bombed Iran. And right after the U.S. did that, they changed their bio on TikTok to welcome to the golden age of America. Pay attention because this could make us filthy rich. As you may know, Donald Trump has been working on the Golden Dome of America project. The Golden Dome is going to protect any aerial attacks from any country. With obvious tensions rising in the Middle East, they are
Don't
speeding
y'all
up
know that
construction
dome
of the
just got
Golden Dome.
destroyed over
And here's
there
the
in
crazy thing,
Israel?
because in this leaked phone call conversation between
It's not a
Donald Trump and
dome
Jeffrey Epstein, they
anybody
talked
can
about
build
tokenizing the dome on March 24th.
to
And if
flee
you
away
check
from the
out Donald
judgment
Trump's
of
official
Yahweh.
crypto portfolio, you can see that
And
he's
that's what he
holding a
want to
coin
show
called
Pharaoh
Dome.
and the
I
rest
just
of
found
these
it on
other
Coinbase. It's called the
Pharaoh
Golden Dome Reserve, and
nations
it's still under a cent. And on March
that he's
24th, the
sovereign,
same day that Trump said that
and
he
he's
wanted to
going to
tokenize
continue
Dome,
to
there's going to be
punish
a
this
huge crypto
world
event that he is attending, meaning he
until
is going to be talking about Dome. And once
it
this is
bend
announced,
those
this will
knees.
send like fucking crazy. But don't fall for any of the fakes. Make sure you buy the myth that looks like this. And if you don't have a trading platform to trade on, the one that I use is linked in my profile. But as always, this is not financial advice, so do your own research.
So President Trump has just decided that any states that are protesting Israel, that are against what's happening in Gaza, and they publicize it, they go out and protest it, he's going to cut disaster relief funding to that entire state.
That's
He
bad.
doesn't care. You know, we
That's
don't live in the
ridiculous,
United
folks.
States of America anymore. It's obvious to me, it's got to be obvious to you, we live in the United States of Israel. That
I ain't biting my
AIPAC's
tongue for
dollars are
nobody.
paying our people more than we are, and we're living in the twilight zone. In the United States of America, if you say no to
If
what
nobody
Israel
don't
is doing
stand
in
up and
Gaza,
execute God's
President Trump
judgment
is now going
and
to
stand
cut
up for
funding to
righteousness
your
and
state
justice
to prepare you for a disaster.
when it is
What
needed,
is this telling you,
then we
folks?
don't got nothing.
This man don't give two shits about anybody
We don't have
except
nothing.
his bottom line. President Trump is knee deep in AIPAC. We
In an
found this
hour
all
and a
out.
time like
It's all
this,
out in the open.
you got to
All
stand
the
up and be
senators,
bold
all
as
the
a lion.
Congress. Wake up, kids. What is the world coming to? So President Trump has just decided that any states that are protesting Israel, that are against what's happening in Gaza, and they publicize it, they go out and protest it, he's going to cut disaster relief funding to...
Officer, I got a question for my TikTok. America first or Israel first? America first or Israel first? You can't say America first as a...
No, because they
America first?
took that oath.
Officer, I'm going to try you. America first or Israel first?
He looked like he like 19.
Every time I talk about this, because it's coming so much sooner than people want to even think about or want to even admit. And I don't ever want to get on this platform and scare anybody. I don't ever intend to fearmonger, but it's an urgency to get right with God. Jesus is our only hope. Jesus is the only way that we can spend eternity with God. There is...
In a major crisis, when there's a food shortage and neighbors and friends come asking for food, what are you going to do? Here's what to do if neighbors or friends come asking for food in a crisis. This is the first thing you're going to do if martial law is declared. And the home security section is pretty legit. And here's the 39 foods you should stockpile. These are the survival items that you're going to want to have before it's too late. And this is how you're going to stockpile a year's worth of water without it going bad. And here's all the items you're going to need for the next U.S. blackout. This book is an excellent resource, and it should be in every household. It's going to show you everything of how to turn your house into the safest place on earth.
Better get
Written
that
by a
Navy
senior Navy
SEALs
SEAL
bug
vet,
guide.
Kevin Lambert. This is the Navy SEALs bugging guide. I'll leave a link down there. Grab yours before it's too late.
Better get that before
In
it's
a major
too late.
crisis, when there's a food shortage, and neighbors and friends come asking for food, what do you...
This earth is going to turn black. And there's not going to be no more sun. The moon is going to turn to blood. And it's going to fall from the sky and hit the ocean. Pacific or Atlantic. Boom. And cause a tsunami and wipe out a lot of people. And at the same time, the stars going to be bringing fireballs of fire from the sky. And water will be turning to fire. And the whole earth will go up. And you will go up in steam like C2O and be the resurrection to the heavens above. That's that. Now, I've been down here 3,000 years ago, before Jesus Christ was born, 1,000 years before Jesus Christ was born. And it was just after Solomon died. Solomon had abundance of wives. And he believed in God, but he started believing like Jezebel before he died, and God punished him and made him lose his yoke. But I am his yoke, because he's my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. And St. James, Jesus' brother, is my great-great-great.
That's connected to America. It's going to put the United States pretty much in darkness. Now, before I get on this topic, let me get on another topic.
They already been cutting the lights off.
I had made a video talking about how the rabbi from Israel is saying that their Messiah was going to come on Nissan 1. You have the ones in the back who mock and stuff. Nobody say anything about him coming. Okay? But I made a video talking about Nissan 17, which was when the Israelites were freed, the 144,000. Now, I screenshotted it, and I saw the Lord put 144 on that video of me mentioning about the 144,000 being sealed on Nissan 17. I go back and I look at the video, like I'm just, looking at my video or whatever. 555 is on this video. And normally when the Lord shows me 555, it means I'm on the right track. Okay, now, people think America is untouchable. But the Bible says she will be destroyed in 1 hour. People think that they can just post, do whatever, live life like nothing is happening, like we not in war. But they're about to have a real reality check very soon. All your selfie days, posting dumb stuff that's irrelevant, is about to come to an end. Now, I just posted another video talking about the woman talking about the 3 days of darkness. 144 is on that video, which is dealing with the 144,000 having receiving powers, the chosen ones receiving powers during this 3 days of darkness when the northern lights were seen worldwide. Now, in my dreams in the past, I was at home chilling, the world went into complete darkness. Okay, it was like nighttime, it was night, the whole world went into darkness. People need to get right with God. This world is moving toward the 7-year tribulation. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, if you don't repent, you will perish. Family, friends, I don't care who you are. If you do not repent, you will perish. Get right.
Here's some imminent warning signs that something apocalyptic, real world, and disastrous is about to unravel. The first and obvious sign is if something to do with the media, social media, or the internet becomes unstable. For example, apps become unstable or stop working, sudden communication failure across all systems, cell service, internet, banking, transport updates, etc. These are usually the first to go because these are the most fragile structures in current civilization. The second one is mass changes in human behavior. People stop commuting, schools shut abruptly. There's usually panic in areas like pharmacies, fuel, and supermarkets with basic needs such as food.
They doing that right now.
Panic itself spreads faster
There's
than
a lot
facts.
of people
This will
crashing
also
out.
lead me to my next point, and it's that supply chains will stall immediately. Fuel especially will either become too expensive to buy or too scarce to
That's
even
happening
find.
right
This is
now.
where the vast
Gas
majority
up
of
to
crowds will gather. And it's not just fuel as
420
well.
over here.
Things like toilet paper, food, and non-perishable goods like rice, canned food, they all disappear within hours. These don't happen in days. These happen in hours. Temporary delays, all at once. The next one is that government messaging will shift its tone extremely fast. It's called ruthless and immediately distinctive. This is when factions will usually form. Debates or anything to do with constitution, such as equality, those things will collapse. Debates will no longer matter. People will become more violent and much more polarized. Human instincts will now override logic. This paired with repetitions. No causes for alarm paired with either spontaneous or unexplained restrictions. Curfews, travel pauses, and emergency powers all provoked quickly. The next one is so subtle yet so absolute. Things such as basic human rights for people that were previously marginalized, those things will reverse back. People with disabilities, people who are marginalized will lose their rights and lose their privileges, becoming immediately more vulnerable because this is a sign that humanity is going back to survival mode. These things were usually put in place where there was a luxury of consideration. When basic stability of civilization goes away, those things are the first to go. It's cold but true. Which leads, and now illegal, you'll hear them across the street. This is not dramatization, and the news outlets will become so bombarded with recurring circumstances that they're forced to either censor it or let that become the only thing that's in the news. That's if the news is even working in the first place. The next one is unusual military or emergency movement. Convoys, aircrafts, sirens without explanation. When authorities move without explanation, they know more than what they're saying. The next one is the final.
I told you that this was gonna happen, and damn it, has it happened? That radiation fog. Yeah, that radiation fog that was in California that was being produced by the Ring of Fire. It has kicked its way and swept the South. You understand? Not only has it swept the South, you got South Carolina, you got Mississippi, but it hit Alabama where your girl resides. Okay, and with this fog came a slew of symptoms. Not only is it causing headaches, it's causing nausea, it is a serious funk that comes with this fog. And people all in airlines have been complaining about it. But not only that, but the animals are even feeling the effects. Even the animals are feeling the effects. And it's no coincidence that where this radioactive fog has appeared, these crazy weather phenomena start happening. It's just coincidental, but we can go to the clips.
Look, see outside, we got Alabama and Georgia being your representatives from the southeast this morning. Dense fog advisory is up through mid-morning, so, the next couple hours is the most crucial.
Are you filming the road? Yeah. Why? We don't have this at all.
If you know, Alabama doesn't get fog. It's not a thing here. And if you don't believe me, let's go to some other state.
Wow, that's crazy.
Now remember how the Ring of Fire is active, right? Which is a bunch of super volcanoes, underwater, all types, just active, popping it off right now. But then you also got Yellowstone getting active, right? Hell, it's a clip.
Take a look at this. A huge, muddy eruption caught on camera at Yellowstone's Black Diamond Pool.
The Ring of Fire just woke up and everything around it is cracking open. In the last 2 days, volcanoes have started erupting again from Indonesia to Japan, and the seafloor near Chile has begun to shake like a heartbeat. Japan's Iwate coast, a 6.9 earthquake hit this week, the strongest in the region.
You're the Flaming Horse? 2026? Not even a full month in?
Well, everybody keeps asking what happened.
They're handing out zombie attack survival guides inside Texas courthouses. Yeah, but it's not about zombies. Follow this page and watch this till the end because this connects to something much bigger. At first glance, it sounds like a joke. A government building handing out zombie pamphlets. But when you actually read it, it's all real. Emergency kits, water, food, evacuation plans, contacts. So the real question isn't, what is this? It's why are they trying this hard to get your attention? Because the truth is, most people aren't ready for anything. Not power outages, not supply disruptions, not sudden emergencies. So instead of saying, be prepared, they say something extreme enough to make you look. Zombies. But here's where it gets serious. Texas isn't random. High disaster risk, grid issues, weather extremes, and this isn't just Texas. This kind of messaging has been used across the country before, which means one thing. They're trying to wake people up. Not because zombies are coming, but because something real could happen. And most people would have no idea what's actually going on around them. Because think about it. If something disrupted your area right now, where would you get real information? The news? Social media? If it's even working? Or would you be stuck guessing while everything unfolds around you? There's no delays, just sit. Because when things shift, information is everything. Because when things shift, information is everything. In spite of the noise, see what others miss. And it's almost about to launch. We hit a few road bumps in the beta version, but we're like this close. So expect the announcement any day now. There.
Fucking hell, guys, the Kremlin has issued a chilling warning that it seems to us that the end of the world is upon us. Vladimir Putin's spokesman lashed out at the collapse of international law.
The zombie apocalypse wasn't exactly on my bingo card for this year, but...
This is gonna be the last day to get it for
You know the apocalypse is happening. See? When the ox by man water.
Only the strongest gonna survive.
Not sure who owns that land? The Onyx.
The apocalypse is coming, and this is what the Bible says about it. God destroyed everything on the earth, and
Not sure who owns that land? The Onyx Hunt app has you covered with property lines and.
Before the Anunnakis came
to tell the American people this. Check.
Destroyed a massive oil facility at Oman's biggest port. Now gas prices are rising for the 12th straight day as governments rush to prevent a global crisis.
So I thought the Strait of Hormuz was open. Never mentioned they closed it, nor did he mention they blew some shit up. I was wondering when I went to the gas station this morning why the gas went up an extra 30 cents. Meanwhile, the oil that he got from Venezuela, we don't even use that type of oil. You know how much shit they gonna have to do to that oil to get it to how we really need it? Meanwhile, the prices of the gas is about to sky fucking rocket. I didn't ask for this shit. You didn't ask for it.
Everybody keeps asking what app I'm using for public.
This is huge breaking news coming in. Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi just made a huge announcement today on live TV. He said for Suez Canal, Egypt charges $200,000 to $700,000 per transit, and large container ships or tankers can exceed $1 million. Panama charges $100,000 to $450,000 per transit. Large Neo-Panamax vessels cost up to $500,000 to transit the Panama Canal. Turkey charges fees for the Bosphorus Strait. Canada charges fees for the St. Lawrence Seaway. The United States charges fees for the St. Lawrence Seaway. And Iran has refused to collect fees for the Strait of Hormuz for decades. They made it free, despite the defamation, sanctions, and isolation, and yet you want me to believe that Iran is the bad guy here? So the real question is, who's actually right and who's just controlling the story? If actions don't match the narrative, then maybe the truth isn't what we're being told. And maybe it's time to question everything we hear. More news is coming, and I will keep you updated. Make sure to follow for latest updates. This is huge break.
Halligan, Donald Trump's personal attorney.
Yes, a police scanner right on my phone.
I want to get your thoughts specifically on that. Time that we Americans have to come to grips with something. We have a party in this country, the Democrat Party, that hates the country. Here we are in the middle of a
y'all just want to go blow up some more stuff, man.
Peace mission.
We ain't with killing and blowing and bombing up people.
Right up to the minute, we attack them.
There's so much going on. Here's a few things you should know. Trump announced a 5-day pause on U.S. strikes targeting Iran's energy infrastructure. Trump also claimed there are productive talks with Iran, possibly to end the war. Iran immediately denied this, calling it false. This country has not paused attacks. They've continued major airstrikes, especially around Tehran, with reports of them double tapping. Japan is preparing to release oil reserves to stabilize markets. Vietnam, Bangladesh, and the Philippines are set to run out of oil within 3 weeks due to the war. Ukraine struck Russia's largest oil port. Russia signed a deal with Vietnam to build its first nuclear power plant. 900,000 acres have been burned now.
Senator Cruz and I came up with a plan. We said, look, it's a two-step process. The Democrats...
You know what AI does now? Wow, so just moments ago, Fox News cut away from Donald Trump's speech in South Carolina to fact-check him. When Fox News is fact-checking Trump, you know it's especially bad. Take a look at the clip.
Went to Nevada.
All right, we're continuing monitoring the president's remarks, and I need no offense to him, or some of you might want to continue hearing, but I did have to say that even though the former president is entitled to his opinions, he's not entitled to his own set of facts. The market has indeed been going up, but having nothing to do with him and everything to do with this aggressive cut in interest rates, or just a hiking in interest rates that stabilize inflation.
And World War III warnings are now being issued to Donald Trump in the United States. Take a look at the latest headlines with me. You can see here, China and Russia demand that Trump releases Maduro as World War III fears grow. Russia slams Trump, vows to defend Venezuela as World War III fears erupt. World War III soon. You can see this coming out all over the headlines in the last 24 hours. Kim Jong-un enters the U.S.-Venezuela conflict, issues a stern message to Donald Trump, says, leave my friend or else. Trump triggers World War III.
Been exercising his missiles over there.
Venezuela FM rallies,
testing his missiles to see how close he can get them over here.
They say.
Man, these people about to
Trump, he has
blow this whole world
to
up.
Various nations. Trump issues a threat against multiple countries following Venezuela's strike. And take a look. One of those was Colombia. Come and get me. The Colombian president's war of words with Trump now escalates. Cuba also faces an uncertain future after the U.S. topples Venezuelan leader Maduro. And take a look at this. Now, this is really concerning to NATO members. Trump weighs using U.S. and World War III warnings are now being issued to Donald Trump in the United States. Take a look at the latest headlines with me. You can see here, China and Russia demand that Trump releases Maduro as World War III fears grow. Russia slams Trump, vows to defend Venezuela as World War III fears erupt.
This just in, guys. For clarity, today is March 23rd, 2026, approximately 1:30 p.m. Central Time. DJT just announced about an hour ago that if ICE is not enough in the airports, he will deploy the National Guard to airports all over the country. I'm going to show it to you. Again, as we know, ICE has taken over for TSA today, as of today in airports, and they've already arrested an American citizen lady with her child in San Francisco.
Totalitarian state.
And now DJT is saying that he will also deploy the National Guard into the airports as well. Take a look.
Elon Musk has offered to pay TSA workers during this DHS shutdown. Is this something that you've been speaking to him about?
Somebody say, get the trumpet out of office immediately. Immediately. This is not what you call making America great again, Mr. President. I'm sorry to tell you. I wonder what Relana you think about all this, because she never have nothing to say.
That's why the Democrats are going crazy, because they've allowed, by what they did, and hold up, we put ICE, who are a very high level, I mean, they really are a high level group of people. And they
I don't know what's going on anymore. All I know is the Bible say Babylon is drunken off of this wine.
But that's not why they're there.
She have caused other nations to be drunken with her wine. Now it's her turn to drink it.
For clarity, today is March 23rd.
This has nothing to do with if you like America or you hate America or you like this president or you hate this president. This got to do what these biblical prophecies say. He's going to make Babylon drink the cup of his fury.
To airports all over the country.
And that's what's going on right now.
Again, as we know, ICE has taken over for TSA today.
It's time for us to stick to the biblical narrative.
And they've already arrested an American citizen lady.
Stick to the biblical narrative,
in San Francisco.
and you'll be able to see what's going on here in these last
And now
days.
DJT is saying that he will also deploy the National Guard into the airports as well. Take a look.
Elon Musk has offered to pay TSA workers.
This is big breaking news. Evacuations have been ordered in multiple different states. We are also seeing flights being grounded as well, and a train derailment has happened. So let's get into all the details here. You guys can see we have urgent evacuations being issued for South Dakota right now, and also for Colorado. Okay, so Westcliff, Colorado, and Rapid City, South Dakota right now are under evacuation orders. You can see evacuation orders for fire burning near Westcliff. Evacuations have been issued for a fire in Custer County. The fire is burning off of CR 182 on Verdemont Road, northwest of Westcliff.
Fire's just burning all over the country.
Homes within 2 miles of the fire under evacuation order. As of 4:58 p.m., deputies said the area remains evacuated. Deputies said they have been going door to door in the area to check for occupancy. They said many of the homes in the area are vacation homes. Yeah, a lot of these homes are empty, but some of them aren't, and it's hard to tell exactly which ones are which, so they're going door to door to make sure the area is cleared out. Okay, deputies said the Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and Control has 4 multi-mission aircraft assisting in battling the fire. As of the time of writing this, deputies said the fire is estimated at 58 acres, but more
You heard about that meteor
after the MMA flight
an hour
of the fire.
Or whatever?
So no structures have been lost.
No, I ain't hear about that meteor.
And they're saying that the Saddle Club is
I think I did hear something about that meteor that hit.
And deputies say
I ain't
Lake
know
Hall
where it hit
is
at.
available as a shelter location for evacuated families. So That's going in Custer County right now, right? And they were under a red flag warning throughout Colorado. We have multiple fires. We have fires in Montana. We have fires in South Dakota, fires in Colorado. We have a train derailment in Texas. And we have the Denver airport as well had a massive power outage earlier today for half the day. And flights were grounded because they no longer could go in and out of Denver airport. And the tram and the trains to transfer people back and forth to different sections of the airport. The airport's huge. It's massive. The trains were shut down as well, so lots of chaos in the Denver airport caused flights to be grounded there on top of this red flag warning that is issued as well that allowed these fires to spread very rapidly. You can see this fire here in Westcliff. This is right on the edge of the Sangre de Cristo mountain range, all right? And you can see big flames forming, okay? And this fire spread very rapidly. You can see this is what it looked like. And then 10 minutes later, it looked like this. So these winds are really pushing the flames and making these fires spread very quickly and rapidly. All right, you can see here, this is a fire that is in Cardwell Pass and Doherty Mountain in Montana. All right, this is another fire today that just broke out. And they're spreading quick right now with these winds and dry conditions. The snowpack has been extremely low out west. And how are all these fires popping up, though? Okay, that's what I want to know. That's what I don't understand. Here's another fire, all right? It says here that there's a fire burning off Highway 115 south of Colorado Springs. The blaze has prompted highway closures. All right, check this fire out. This is another one not that far from Westcliff. This is
It ain't
maybe
looking too good here,
away
family.
from Westcliff, Colorado. And somehow another fire popped up. 1,600 acres already spreading rapidly. And it's due to this wind. These winds get in these like canyons, and they really just blow down the canyon and just light everything on fire once they're going. But where exactly are they coming from? Right? That's what I want to know. It's not like there was lightning or anything. There was no storms or anything like that. Just pure wind. And then we have lots of fires breaking out. You guys can see here, just so you can see on the mapping here. All right, here is the fire. They're calling it the Buttermilk Fire. That is northwest of Westcliff, Colorado. Small little town there, rancher town. And you can see here it's on the edge of the mountains over here. There's not a ton of people that live here, but there are some homes in these areas, right? And then there's another fire right over here. Okay, there's actually multiple fires, okay? So this is the 20th.
This fucking bitch was trying to tell us something the whole time, but nobody...
The only reason we have free speech in the United States right now is because of Elon Musk. By the way, a naturalized American, a foreigner, who looked at the United States and said, what's great about that country? People can say what they believe because they're not slaves. They're not subjects of the state. They're citizens of a nation that they own. Free speech is central.
If you talk about a certain
to
group,
the entire idea of America. In fact,
certain
it's
group of
really
people,
the only thing that sets us apart
they are
from any other country on Earth. It's our market economy. It's freedom of speech. And here's this guy, a foreign head of state, who, let me restate, is totally dependent on our tax dollars to exist, is saying Americans don't have that right, and he's going to do some kind of secret pressure campaign on Elon Musk to censor X because it bothers Israel. You know, that's what I'm trying to tell you. No, absolutely not. That is not allowed.
Y'all know how many times we've been called niggers and coloreds and monkeys and coons and dumb and ignorant, and nobody made a big deal about how we was being treated and called.
Repeating foreign government talking points on social media as Americans. Oh, you can't say that. It's true. It's 100% true.
This place is
and it's also totally counterproductive, by the way. This is not a sophisticated propaganda campaign. This is a brutal and brooding. Maybe it's not a great idea
that's why,
get sucked into one of their wars. We've done that.
No entertainer can say anything about them. They all got to apologize if they voice the way they feel.
Meanwhile, the
they get
actual
blackballed,
anti-Semites, and there certainly are some online,
canceled,
never get criticized by Bibi or anyone else in his orbit. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? I wonder why that is. When you have actual anti-Semites, doing videos,
they are the
making fun of
only
Auschwitz,
ones that can't be talked about. That can't be talked about.
Maybe things are not quite as they seem.
Yes, they can be talked about.
But
if they wrong and unrighteous, I'm talking about
no hate toward anyone or try not to. are immediately slandered.
If you're doing something
that
wrong,
makes it, in
you're
some
gonna get
cases,
talked
hard
about.
for them to have
That's what the
jobs
Bible says.
if they deviate even a little bit.
We are
So what's the
supposed to
effect
be
of this?
holding
Not that it's
each
up
other
to me to tell
accountable.
Israel how to run its propaganda campaigns, but the effect, just noticing, is that it turns allies into enemies. You can agree on 98% of things, but if you think maybe it was a bad idea to bomb Doha, Qatar, the site of the largest military base in the Middle East, which exists to protect Israel, if you think it was a bad idea for the Israeli government to bomb Doha,
I get along with all race, creeds, and colors.
just in point of fact, by the way, Hamas was originally in Qatar because the Israeli government asked them to accept Hamas. That airbase exists to protect Israel, by the way. That was such a reckless and demented move that Mossad in Israel
Just minutes ago, the Israelis announced they are now conducting a new wave of strikes against the Iranian capital of Tehran. But President Trump last hour did take to Truth Social to say, in part, quote, "I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East." The president goes on to say that he is postponing strikes against Iran's energy infrastructure
because
for
the
at least
people ain't
5
back
days,
down.
given the tone and
You
tenor
gave them
of these
48 hours,
conversations. Now, Iranian
and
state
them
media
people
has
like,
already come
man,
out and say that no talks are
what
taking
you
place
gonna do?
directly or indirectly.
You
And
like,
again, the only
okay, I'll give you
reference point
some
that
more
we have
time.
here is this post on Truth Social from President. This
You
does
heard
not
what
mean the
Iran
United States
said.
and Israel have stopped strikes against the Islamic regime. It means they are not targeting the country's energy infrastructure, according to President Trump, for at least 5 days. Just minutes ago, the Israelis announced they are now conducting a new wave of strikes against the...
Hold on, AI invests for you? Like,
Iran may be activating sleeper cells. The alert says the U.S. intercepted encrypted communications that may serve as an operational trigger for sleeper assets.
We all need to be on heightened alert. They will look to use cyber attacks. They will look to use proxies like Hezbollah, criminal agents to try to disrupt things here in the homeland.
Some pretty incredible news coming out today, March 9th, 2026. Let's take a look at the latest headlines with me. Iran may have activated sleeper cells to carry out attacks around the globe, U.S. officials have said. Iran sends out suspected operational trigger to activate sleeper cells abroad after Khamenei's death, U.S. officials have warned. Now, Iran war. New alert warns of sleeper cells activating. Iran activating global sleeper cells. Secret messages suggest, and you can see this coming out today, March 9th, 2026, developing news that the United States believes that Iran has now initiated or activated the call for sleeper cells to wake up and attack. And a lot of people asking the question, what is even a sleeper cell? That is a group that has been set in place.
Iran may be...
Not sure who owns that land? The Onyx. Breaking news.
For China, up to 800 missiles. Iran has amassed even more near weapons-grade uranium, UN watchdog says. Iran's Supreme Leader slams U.S. nuclear proposal, says it will continue to enrich uranium. Iran counter U.S. nuclear offer as Trump sends new warning.
I'm not really afraid of the United States and Israel right now.
The Supreme Leader of Iran came out and said that any suggestion in an Iran nuclear deal that Iran should stop enriching uranium is nonsense.
Nuclear warnings coming out to the United States as we are hearing in the last 24 hours that Iran is preparing 800 missiles to launch. And this is coming as we have seen that things have fallen apart with the nuclear talks between them and the United States. And these 800 missiles are actually coming from China that is helping them to prepare for war. Now, this comes as I mentioned, things are falling apart with the negotiations, and Iran, the Supreme Leader, is saying, the United States, you do not tell us what we can do. If we can enrich uranium for nuclear weapons or not, we will do as we please. We do not care what it is you have to say about this.
People don't want you telling them what to do.
Meanwhile, as
other countries do not want other people telling them what to do.
Iran has amassed even more near weapons-grade uranium.
How many of y'all out there
says,
want
Supreme Leader
somebody else
slams
to come
U.S. nuclear
into your
proposal,
house
says it will continue to
where you
enrich
pay
uranium.
your bills
Iran
at
counter U.S. nuclear
and
offer
tell
as
you
Trump
what to do in your own house?
I'm not really afraid of the United States and Israel right now.
How many